Hey, let's talk about The Predator for a minute. I'm not crazy about it. Let me start with that. If that's all you need to know, there you go. If you want a numerical rating and some details, stick around. This is going to be spoiler heavy because why not? Anything I really have to say involves potential spoilers. Plus, depending on how familiar you are with the series, I don't know what would be a spoiler and what wouldn't. So, here, spoiler alert. Alright, in the beginning, I thought things were pretty good. You had your predator on predator chase scene with what I'm pretty sure was an homage to the opening shot of the first one or second one. I think it's from the original movie where the ship comes to the planet. They might have done it in both of the first two, both of the ones on Earth. I don't remember. I thought the premise they set up was fine. Honestly, I don't see what's the problem with just, hey, here's a tough guy. He gets into a fight. The predator sees that he's a tough guy. He's like, yeah, I want to kill that guy. On a personal level, I did not need to know what kind of genetic experiments they're participating in back home. I just wanted to see people fighting aliens, which also I didn't really care to see people fighting people. I mean, people fighting people in the beginning, and the predator's like, oh, that's the tough guy. I'm going after that one. And then, stalks him, and that's the whole point of the story. But no, in this case, the predator wants an autistic child's DNA because even though they have spaceships and laser technology and can open wormholes and travel through space instantly, they need our supposed next evolutionary step of being really smart, even though they're already smarter than us and already bigger and stronger than us. They take fluids from the things they kill because I beat that thing down so it can somehow improve me. But even if you buy that premise, when the thing at the end is talking on the translator, and yeah, I get how it's a big joke about, not even joke, a big misdirection about which McKenna it's really looking for. When the thing is on the translator in the ship, telling them, we're gonna play a hunting game. Go get started. The only one of you I care about is your true leader, the only warrior among you, McKenna. Look, the kid was useful, and his condition is useful for part of our population to have it, but nothing about that makes him a warrior. That's the only that is stupid. Nothing about his ability to decode alien languages, nothing about that makes him a warrior. Nothing. Why would the predator give a crap? Oh, you discovered a remote control and you successfully turned the television on. Wow. You should be the leader of your planet, and I'm going to take your genes and make them my own because you figured out how to use technology that I invented. It's not working for me. Sorry. I'm not getting that. I'm not sitting here trying to be critical. I don't get it. I get it that the kid has useful skills for a human being. I don't get it that the predator would want his blood or spinal fluid. But the movie's just goofy through and through. Fortunately, it turned out to really just be a hypothesis from one of the characters. But I mean, really, climate change. Like, is that stuff just so ingrained? Oh, it's gonna kill us all within a generation. Which, just a thing we know. We're not gonna stop it. We're not gonna figure anything out. It's already a catastrophic event. We're not gonna be able to get ourselves under control because human beings are just so awful. Oh, I hate human beings. We should all just die so the trees can survive without us producing stuff for them to breathe. But whatever, human beings are a virus. Oh, I hate human beings. Boo hoo hoo. Go save the environment by getting out of its way. Get over it, man. You're an animal just like everybody else, so how about just worry about your own survival? Try to be responsible, but stop whining about theoretical problems that will only be catastrophic if nothing changes. And guess what? Something always changes. We're human beings, we figure crap out. And if we don't, we will go extinct. Okay. But you're gonna throw that into my action horror movie? Well, get over it. In fact, I don't know if it really is much of an action horror movie. Got a few good horror scenes, like at the school. That was a cool. I'll give it a compliment there. That was a good misdirection. Or, I mean, I immediately figured out what was happening, but like in a good way. And I probably only figured it out because the stupid trailer shows so much. But when they're running from the little predator and the big predator, or the shadow of a predator is in front of them, so they change directions and they run right into the little predator because it's the shadow of the big predator. That was cool. That was cool. That was a good sequence. A lot of the fights were cool. The predator escaping, I mean, that was neat. That made sense. He killed everybody trying to stop him. The woman, the doctor whose name I can't remember at the moment, when she was naked and unarmed because she was trying to get through the decontamination process. He just walked right by her. She wasn't a threat. That's a very Predator thing. That was cool. So there were elements of Predator. I don't understand the whole point, though. He let that woman live because she was naked, unarmed, not a threat. He seemed to ignore some of the scientists. I don't know if he just couldn't get into that room or if he really was just ignoring some of the scientists who weren't a threat. But if this guy is, for some reason, wanting to help Earth, or at least add an ally against the big predators, which I think is more likely the actual scenario, why does he immediately kill a bunch of soldiers just because he lands next to them? Like at the beginning of the movie, when you think he's like maybe just hunting or something, why does he kill a bunch of soldiers at the crash site of his vehicle, his escape pod, and not just kill them like, oh, they've got weapons, they're tough, they could be a threat, I'm going to kill them because they might be a threat. No, not just that. He actually strings one up. I don't think he quite skinned him yet, but he actually strings one up and does the whole predator routine. Why? Why would he? Is that like uncontrollable instinct from these creatures who travel through wormholes? But that whole plan anyway, that he has a ship with a weapon that can kill the predators, so he brings it to Earth. Why? What? Why does he care? Why? And if he does care, why does he kill so many humans? It doesn't add up internally. That's my problem. It does not add up within its own runtime. And then the end, and I mean, I was kind of with it until I started to lose a little interest when the small predator was killed by the big predator. But I was still with it. But then when they got captured by the shady government agency, I was like, really? Like, we established, anti-predator agencies in the second movie. Or kind of the first one. It was kind of implied in the first one they knew something was up. But why has it got to be an evil, shady, we're going to kill everybody or lobotomize everybody who sees something agent? Why? That is so tired. I know people in the Hollywood circles probably don't think it's tired, but that is so tired. Anybody who has government clearance must be evil. They'll kill everyone. Just get over it. Just have some hard cases fighting some predators. Really? Can you not do that? Yeah, so they lost me when it became more about people versus people. And then they had a climax at the ship, and then the predator actually won that fight, so then they had a climax running from the predator, and then the predator actually won that, so they had a third climax chasing down the ship, and they succeeded, but the predator's still alive. So they had another climax where they faced down the predator, 4-on-1 if you count the little dog, which I'm not even going to talk about the space dog because I don't understand the space dog. I don't understand what it was supposed to be doing when it switched sides because it got shot in the head. So it got crazy. So it's like, I'm going to follow you guys around now because reasons. And I'm going to serve story functions that you could have just written around and not had a traitor I don't understand the space dog. But I guess that's the fourth climax. And then they successfully kill the predator. I mean, I guess it works because it got everybody involved. The kid, Papa McKenna, actually did some damage. I can't remember his first name, sorry. The woman, whose name I still don't remember, did some damage. The space dog, for whatever reason, did some damage. I get that. Okay, they all worked together. They brought down the 11-foot predator. 11. It's not 10. It's 11. Yeah, you can tell from your 6-foot vantage point. Whatever. Okay, fine, cool. Movie over. They honored the dead. That was a nice touch instead of like so many movies do, just kind of forgetting that you actually cared about the other characters. That was a good touch. And then we have basically a fifth climax because we're solving the real conflict of the movie, um, finishing the mission of the first Predator. It's like the scouring of the Shire in Predator terms, where you really could have ended it, but I see why we have the next step because the overarching conflict is not really resolved yet. I really didn't need it to be resolved. Okay, I mean, the big predator blew up the ship. Like that resolved it. Whatever the little predator had brought destroyed. End of story. His mission failed. The whole point of the movie became for everybody to survive. But no, we couldn't do it that way. Couldn't do it that way. That'd be way too simple, way too predator-like, way too interesting. No, we have this whole end scene. I'll call it a fifth climax where we get complete resolution where in the most convoluted, melodramatic, silly way possible, it's called the Predator Killer. It's called the Predator Killer. Ah, what is it? Get my son out of here. What's going on? Ah, we're all going to open it by hand anyway. And then, oh, the random dot. Oh, I'm being consumed by the electronic suit. What's going on? Oh, he looks like a predator. Do we kill him now because he looks like a... None of it freaking dramatic at all. None of it suspenseful. None of it interesting. And it drags on. It should have been like a minute and a half of McKenna in his uniform to show that he's in good graces after killing the predator and probably after wiping out that ridiculous government unit that was probably going rogue. McKenna in uniform walks down a hall. Rory working with them. That's cool. Little kid doing the technology thing because he's all got those skills. There's the box. The box opens up. Okay. My idea actually. Box opens up, or Rory reads the screen, is like, this translates as Predator Killer. Box opens up, and it's Adrian Brody. It's Royce from Predators. Yeah, no, yeah. I think it'd be cool. It's Royce and maybe and the chick. Oh, jeez, I feel bad. It's like only women whose names I'm forgetting. But to be fair, I didn't try to name any of the team. The only person on the team I remember is Nettles because they keep shouting his name. But Royce and the other survivor from Predators are in the box and like maybe got some like special gear that the Predator gave them or something. I don't know. That would have been great. That would have been fun. But I think we're trying to ignore that Predators even happened because the space dogs, we had space dogs and Predators, and now we have these weird, I think, part predator dog things that they engineered. Why do they have to engineer things anyway? Like that, that is such a like self-centered, just I don't know how to describe it. Why has it got to be genetic engineering? It's just like after Resident Evil came out, and hey, maybe Resident Evil didn't start it, but I feel like they did. After a movie version of Resident Evil came out, everything was a virus. Everything. It's not voodoo. It's not magic. It's not a bacterial infection. It's not a fungus. It's a virus. No! Some stupid young adult books I read just to pass the time and read them in like a day. It's always a virus. What? Well, same here. You could have been ahead of your time, but no, you're like, oh, they genetically engineer things. Why do they give a why? Why do they necessarily give a crap about genetic engineering? Genetic engineering is probably like taking their protein shake. But no, that's the point. Genetic engineering is dangerous. That's what the bad aliens do. Just the more I talk about it, the more I'm realizing how cheesy and stupid things were. I'm actually liking the movie less and less the more I talk about it, and I didn't like it in the first place. It's just so it's trying to be so smart or something or relevant or just give me witty men with big muscles shooting guns at a monster alien, please. I was gonna give it a 2 out of 5. It's competently put together, but I say that, but after having this discussion, I realize like the whole premise is stupid. So I mean, can I really give it credit for coherent editing when the actual written story is not completely coherent? No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. Yeah, okay. I was gonna give it a 2 out of 5. It downgraded itself while I was trying to talk about it. 1 out of 5. This movie does not make sense. So yeah, that's the bottom line. Is if you're just watching an individual movie, I'm not sure the motivations and the conflict actually make sense. If you're asking me about, as a Predator fan, about what I think, I think it was a silly direction to go. Just have the hunter hunting the hunting the human beings, and don't make jokes about the name, and don't actually call them predators in the movie because nobody's bothered to do that before. And it's kind of a neat thing. It's almost kind of an unspoken joke that we call it Predator because that's what it is. But within the universe, the movie universe, nobody it's a freaky alien. We don't know what it is. We don't have a name for it. We don't know what they call themselves. We can't communicate with them. But apparently, Harvard figured out how to communicate with them. I thought that was silly too. Like where did they get the language samples to put that together? And then just so much of the writing is like a child's idea of how the world works. Like with the former Mrs. McKenna gives the speech about like what who her husband is, and all. I'm like, one, who talks like that, but just the way they're listing the accomplishments, I'm like, this is like some kid who saw a Vietnam documentary and was like, I'm going to make a character in Russia. They should have just copied Rambo's credentials. They should have just done Richard Crenna's speech about Rambo's credentials. It actually would have been a fun homage. It would have been funny. No, actually, I like that idea. Okay, so that's how you make the movie better. You take out the whole. All right, there we go. I'm going to criticize this movie. I'm going to offer you suggestions. I'm going to be positive. All right. Take out the Predator versus Predator angle. I get that it's been established from Predators, but let's ignore that for now. It's not going to infuse everything that happens in the universe. So let's take out the Predator on Predator action. Let's get just the regular little Predator in the really good looking suit. And he's after McKenna because McKenna proved to be a tough guy. Oh, by the way, what happened to those poor hostages? At the very beginning, they're hostages in a cartel exchange with somebody. I don't know if it's two cartel. I don't know who's exchanging what. I don't know what's happening. But what happened? Just one little line of resolution, or just a scene where they showed the dog running away, which I appreciate. Always like it when they let you know the dog or the random bystander survived by showing them just kind of getting away from the action. I like that. Let's show the hostages running away from the beginning scene. Anyway, whatever. Sorry. All right, so how do you make this movie better? You have your fight at the beginning, just like the first two movies. McKenna shows that he's a tough guy. The Predator is there watching just because he's hunting. After the mission, McKenna goes all the way back home instead of staying in Mexico. Said it was Mexico. Instead of staying in Mexico, he goes home. That way we have the same setting as we kind of had in this movie. And the Predator follows him all the way home. That's a little bit different. That's a little bit different than the last two. It tracks him hundreds of miles. But yeah, then play the movie out the rest of the. I mean, you can have the kid with autism. You can have the estranged wife. You can whatever else you want. Use the elements you had. Use the hounds. Use the space dogs. Like, but use the ones from Predators. That's fine. I guess I guess my point is just keep it simple. Should have kept it simple, but they didn't. But they didn't. They ended up making a terrible movie. I don't like it. Don't enjoy it. Not gonna buy it. Not gonna watch it again. It's moderately funny at times. I thought the beginning was pretty funny, but then once the action started, they should have backed off. Plus, there's a lot of humor about people dying. In fact, there's no value for human life in this movie. I think that's something that doesn't sit well in a movie where people are trying to survive against something that has no regard for their lives. It kind of takes all the power out of it if nobody has any regard for anybody's life. Little kids like, oh, I accidentally blew somebody up, but whatever. The scene with you're gonna kill somebody with a tranquilizer gun? Yeah, because you were mean to me. Pow, kill him with the tranquilizer gun, and then don't kill the really bad dude because you need him as a hostage, and then work with whatever. It's a stupid movie. No, yeah, okay. I'll give the first half of the movie 2 stars, and I give the second half of the movie 1 star, which means in the end you only get a 1 out of 5 rating.